Welcome, everybody, back to another day of Pro League Live at the Next Arena. We got Prime versus KT for our first matchup here tonight. I am Valdez. With me is Moonglade. How are you doing?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic, Valdez. It's great to be here with you once again, my friends. It's going to be a good day.
Yes, it is.
Might be a quick one there. It depends what these guys are going to do today. Only 4 of them turned up. Prime, they're in a bad place. They have been for a while now. And KT, they're actually not doing too good this round as well.
Also in a bad place.
Also in a bad place, but when you look at their lineups, it's still pretty heavily favored for KT.
Yeah. I think they're okay for playoffs. They have a decent amount of points. I think they just have to not get wrecked in this round. Maybe at least make playoffs, but they've got to win a lot of different matches in a row. At least tonight, maybe they can turn things around. Of course, going up against Prime, we said it before, kind of the punching bag of Pro League at this point. Yeah,
but kind of the bonus round for a lot of teams. They want to farm the points they can. Like it's Clash of Clans, they need to make the money, the gold off a town that has been AFK for a couple of weeks. That's what I'm looking at them as at this point. But maybe they can surprise us today. Last week we actually did see Prime get a couple of points, Valdez.
Yeah, it is true.
They brought it to the ace match at the very least.
It's true. That day, to be honest, everyone, I voted against Prime as a team without looking at the lineups. Then I looked after I voted, and I'm like, oh, wait, Horror's playing. Whoa.
Yeah, they really brought out someone that they've never really used, Horror.
Yeah.
Cool to see someone else come out and give it a go, but a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, it was a very interesting day of Pro League matches, to say the least. Here's where we stand. SK Telecom still wrecking everyone. Samsung Galaxy Con doing much better. Only losing one game. I think it was either to, I think it must have been to SKT, because I remember it was to a very big team.
Yeah, I believe you're right there. But, yeah, pretty interesting sort of ranking so far. MVP up there. And KT, man, right down the bottom. It's a scary place to be.
Hero up here at the top, 18-10. Zest, though, 18-11, right behind him. He will be playing today, and he is going to be playing in the first matchup against YoDa. So definitely very heavily favored, looking to take that #1 spot away from Hero.
Yes, Zest has kind of been really fixing his results this round. He was 50%, I believe, last time. He wasn't doing very well at all.
It was 10-10 or something ridiculous.
He wasn't in the best of places, but he's looking a lot better this time.
That he definitely is. Another guy that was on the first page was Stats. I was looking at some of his stats, and he was 14-3 after round number 3. Now he's 14-6. Definitely not having a good time these days, and he will be playing tonight as well in the second game.
That's right. As you can see with these lineups, a lot of downward arrows for Prime, a lot of sideways for KT, kind of representing where these teams are right now in this round. Still heavily favoring KT. I would be surprised if it's not a 3-0.
Yeah, that's pretty much the story, especially when Prime goes against one of these really, really good teams. Even though KT Rolster is not playing that well these days, they still have these amazing players that can come out any day, and they do decently in individual leagues and stuff like that. So,
yeah, pretty fun maps to see it play on. It'd be fun to see live versus Bung Bung again, but I don't think it's going to get there. At least we're going to see a Flash game. It's going to be a TVT as well against the best performing player on Prime. It is Keen. Maybe he can cause an upset there, but Flash, he's generally pretty good in TVT.
Keen and Zest doing well, even though their teams are not.
Yep.
Flash and Stats on a 3-game losing streak.
Yeah. Ooh. Danger zone. Don't want to be dropping a game to Prime. This is the one time they have to shine more than any other, because it's such a simple 3-0 so long as they play smart and safe.
It really is. That's a really interesting viewpoint, actually. Both Stats and Flash. Didn't actually realize that about Flash. I think Stats is more apparent when you think about, especially how far he's fallen. Flash overall in this season of Pro League hasn't been the top level, not even what he was at last season, I'd say.
He's always hit and miss, Flash. You can never count on Flash 100%. He's a great player, and he shows some amazing games a lot of the time, but not always.
Yeah, definitely. Just taking a look at what he's done this season, 9-13, not even having a winning ratio, definitely speaks to where he's at this season.
Yeah, still, I really enjoy his TVP, but outside of TVP, Not a fan.
Yeah.
Not a fan right now.
I think recently, like over at GSL, I think he was playing that mech style, and he's shown it last season as well. So maybe with the new, resurgence of mech against Zerg, if he hits a bunch of Zergs, maybe he can do decently.
Yeah, we've seen him try again, and he can make it work. He can get caught out still, though. It's like he's a little inexperienced in certain situations. And we're seeing that, in every matchup, except these Terran versus Protoss, which is starting to look like a very well-oiled machine for the current meta. It's like he's very greedy. He gets away with it, and then he kind of just steamrolls them later on. Yeah,
he's a fun player to watch, especially in that match. Just going to mention it one more time. We do not have the game time. We'll tell you if it's important. Not a big deal. I've kind of gotten used to it at this point. But anyway, guys, let's introduce our players. It is YoDa here, first player for Prime. He is 0-8 against Protoss this season.
Yeah, not the best results against Protoss at all. He defeated Horror in his last match. He was one of those players last week that got some points on the board for Prime. But outside of that, man, he's been in a bad way against Protoss for a while now. Lost to Zaun in the Star League Season 3 qualifiers. Lost to Hero in his last match against Protoss in Pro League.
Yeah, and here is Zest doing very, very well, specifically against Terran these days. Taking out both Dream and Bomber recently in Pro League, getting out of that really hard SSL group, defeating Maru twice. And even though Maru was not on his game at that point, I mean, it's still Maru. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it really is something else that Zest could do that. Zest in a fantastic form right now for his team, as it did show in the viewpoints earlier. So I'm very excited to see what he's got planned for YoDa today.
Maybe with this first win from Zest, if he can get it, maybe they'll boost KT to a bit of a lead here tonight. YoDa looking to make that not happen. Let's jump into game number 1 now for this matchup. Down here in the bottom right, in the purple, our Terran player from Prime, it is YoDa.
Oh, look at that.
I don't know what that is, Ringlade.
Me neither, man. I didn't think I want to know either, Valdez. Up here in the top left, we do have the Protoss player for KT. He is Zest, the chisel to us, the most handsome of the pro gamers.
And I think that is the Chinese character once again for... It's either like strong or man or something. I'm not the best of the Chinese characters. It's something like that, yeah.
It could be chisel.
Chisel, muscle, handsome.
Toned, very toned. Model, I don't know. There's a lot of different things.
Yeah. Yeah, it is referring to Zest even so. He's got that on his Star League pin as well.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, they usually be going down the theme of strength when it comes to Zest. In Star League.
Yeah, they even did a little bit with the one of the new reporters we got over here. Really not sure exactly what she does, but she does some cool little videos with a bunch of the pro gamers, kind of going off of what they're known for. So for Zest, the one where she touches his muscles and he walks out and he feels himself. He's like, not bad, He's like, I am pretty good.
Yeah, it's a great thing. It's such a cool role model to have, I think, as a pro gamer, some guy that's just getting buff while playing games all the time. Well, here we go. So YoDa's going to be starting up with the CC first, keeping things greedy. I think he needs kind of every advantage he can get in this matchup. Such a well-favored one for Zest. I wouldn't even be surprised if we saw a hidden third somewhere for YoDa. I think that'd be his best bet at this point, considering how strong Zest is right now.
Makes a command center at the 4th base in the bottom left or something ridiculous.
That would be awesome, actually. I think maybe top right to be less likely to be scouted.
Top right.
Yeah. But, it's not necessary. I'm already grasping at straws here for YoDa, but he's still he's a great player. He can still, do damage. He's just got to be informed to do it. And that's the problem. That's the thing that's been lacking, I feel, this round.
For sure. Well, with the meta the way it is right now in TVP, as you were saying before, I think he just needs to play as greedy as possible. Hidden base or not, I think we do need to see that very fast 3rd CC build, because Protoss these days not playing very aggressive. No, like, one base blink all-ins or even two base blink. Not much out of the Protoss these days, so Terran's definitely getting away with it.
Yeah, things have really slowed down in this kind of in this matchup. Far less about that aggression. And, well, I think it's going to be just the same this game as well. CC first. Pretty greedy opening from Zest. Not a insanely greedy, but so far it's been pretty tame. Though we do see that probe looking to throw down a proxy, I believe. Or just going for a very delayed scout. Trying to avoid that Reaper if it's on the map.
Yeah, I think that's what that's about.
I had kind of high hopes for a second there. Maybe we'll see a Stargate, but it's just a little too late. And he's going to get in just before the bunker finishes. That's a little advantage.
He's poking up there. He's not going to commit to the scouts. Just going to come back down the route. Maybe allow the Mothership Core to do that scouting for him.
Yeah, he might actually scout only 2 barracks so far. Third one coming up now. So he's going for that 3 racks before any sort of gas. He wants that bio out just in case that aggression might come.
He's going to come in here and see the 2 racks, but not much else. Sees the amount of Marines. He's going for a Twilight Council, actually. Either going back to the old style builds of Hero, or maybe he will put on the aggression this time around.
I think what he saw should be enough to kind of warrant him being like, okay, I can apply pressure with the blink, but I don't want to go all in because the bio count will be large enough. So I'll poke, I'll contain, and while that's happening, go for that third, go for that robo. There we go into Colossus.
Yeah. For Zest, I feel, we were saying maybe he can put on some aggression, but especially against YoDa, a guy he's definitely favored against.
Oh, date night.
Uh-oh. He's wearing a tie, man.
Yeah.
He's as well-dressed as we are.
Yeah, actually better dressed, fellas.
He's got a better shirt on than me.
I'm jealous right now, actually. It's okay.
Maybe in the future.
It's okay. I mean, it's more important, he's on a date. He's got to look his best. Maybe he just came from work as well.
It's possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, what I was saying, like, Zest, he doesn't really have to kill YoDa here. I think all Zest has to do is say, okay, I'm not going to let him get away with extreme greed. I'm going to make sure he's not doing that. But as long as we go mid or late, I'm going to be 100% fine against this guy. That's at least how I would think if I were Zest.
Well, as well, you can think back to those Maru games he had in Star League, where he was very defensive. He was absorbing anything that Maru threw his way, shutting down the star that we usually see from him, and just going to that greedy late game. Like, it seems to be where Protoss want to get. Classic is another great example of this Protoss player that he will take it late game every chance he gets, and he's so much well-versed in that late game, getting the ideal composition and just taking the right fights.
See a pretty quick third base coming out here for Zest. Coming down at around 7 minutes, maybe 7:10, 7:20. And way before YoDa here. YoDa just really macroing up, getting his production ready, getting that tech eventually here.
Yeah, straight up into 5 racks this early on here. So no desire to go for the fast 3cc. And this might catch Zest out if he's not a little careful, because he is powering up. He is playing very, very greedy.
That is true. But at the same time, I do think the best thing that is going for Zest is just the opening for YoDa. There's a lot of Marines. As long as he can get out, maybe 1 or 2 Colossi, should be fine. I think he's making his first one right now. He's also got a pretty interesting pylon up there in the top right.
I like that pylon, actually. It's going to, detect any Medivacs heading that way to the third base just a little bit earlier. Ooh, nice scan there from YoDa. It's going to buy him a little bit of time in the dark. Can move across the map with a pretty impressive size bio army, actually. He's really gearing up for this 2-base attack.
Yeah. Zest, as you were saying before, he does need to be careful, especially with this much bio here. Like, he can have his Stalkers on the map, but against this much bio with Stim and a bunch of Marauders, I don't think he has concussive shells just yet, but like, he just has to make sure he doesn't lose this because he's going to need every single unit to defend against this push.
Yeah, certainly so. And they're +1 now, +1 in just a second's time. This is going to be a hard hold for Zest. He's going to get these Colossus out ASAP and get enough buffering for them because Stim Marauders in a nice concave will make short work of a small army like he has now.
Yep, YoDa still moving across the map, just making 2 medis at a time. He's not making a 3rd CC at all. He has no hopes of going towards any kind of mid or late game here against Zest. I think it's a kind of a smart move. It's like the other way around. Instead of that extreme greed, he's just going to put on the heavy aggression here in this game.
Yeah, open up greedy, but have a strong follow-up for the early mid-game. But as we say that, he does throw down that third CC after scanning the army, going, okay, you got a couple of Colossus now. I have to take things a little bit easier. Nice scan again, and look at this. Oh, Zest really on point.
Zest does have to be careful, though, with that small of an army to support only 2 Colossi. Having his army pulled to the right side and maybe having the rest of it stim in here and cast these Colossi out could be devastating.
Yeah, I think he's looking for a double drop, perhaps, into the main base.
Maybe a quadruple drop. He's got to be careful, though. All the Stalkers are in the main.
Yeah. He's kind of posturing up still, and he's trying to distract at least a little bit with these Marines. But look at this. We are seeing a wraparound with that bio heading towards the third base. Zest could be caught out here.
Thermalance does finish, but he is looking for that angle. He's trying to come up here and catch these Colossi.
Oh. One goes down already, but a second one on the left side here. This is actually an ugly fight for Zest.
Yeah, pretty ugly. Loses his second Colossus there. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough to kill Zest here, but he does catch out 2 of those very expensive Colossi there in that fight.
Yeah, Zest might actually have to combine his army now. There's no way he can split this up any further. He's got to get more Colossus out. He's got to get more buffering, because that is a lot of Marauders, and that's a lot of Stalkers and Colossus with just about no Zealots right now.
And 6 more Stalkers making their way into this game.
Wow.
No Zealots at all. We've seen this before. Well, he's got 6, but just a pretty low number in general.
Yeah, scariest thing is getting that AoE up that he needs to fight this kind of army. But now we're seeing Viking production on this as well, 4 at a time. That's actually going to be so deadly against what we see from Zest right now. His army is so small.
Yeah, definitely is. YoDa's doing a good job of really cutting down on that big Protoss army for now. And the follow-up push could be very nice. You know, Zest once again has his army split up. Another really nice scan here to deny that vision from the Observer. Maybe he will go for a drop into the main, maybe towards that third at the same time. This is one of the best maps for it, actually. Part of the reason why Coda is a great Terran map. You can really drop on that main pretty easily.
Yeah, you can. But we just haven't seen YoDa do it yet. He's kind of just being focused on the front here, distracting where he can. Always the threat of the drop there. Looks like Zest might be... it looks like he's kind of given up the main base, though. He's sure that no drops will be happening.
Nice little force over there, going to take out one of those pylons. And now YoDa posturing, lots of Stalkers spotting here with Blink. Trying to poke at some units before the fight actually goes down.
Oh,
here we go.
The boys have been pulled. He's looking for this great timing. They're pretty even in terms of supply. A lot of Colossus out at this point there.
Zest already sniping out a Viking. He's going to retreat here to the natural. Photon Overcharge goes down.
Actually not a bad fight at all for YoDa. And now, though, the Vikings are getting DPS down. There's not enough left over. So many Colossus remain.
Oh, and look at those forces and a Time Warp as well on almost everything. All of those Colossi in the back doing critical damage.
Wow, what a savage hold from Zest. Beautifully done there. Just nothing left for YoDa at all. Scan goes down. Looks like it might be a GG one at this point.
Damn. Making that look easy. That's kind of the game we were expecting out of Zest. This guy is on fire these days, especially against Terran.
Yeah, you know, it looked like he was sweating for a second there. I was getting nervous because the movements from YoDa were beautiful. Like, he was really threatening it. But Zest holds on until the end. He gets great positioning on top of those Vikings, DBSs them down, and a great start for KT in a match that they should be pretty confident in from here.
Yeah. Putting out Zest first, I think, is also a great idea, just to get that momentum started. Imagine they put out, like, stats or something, and he has a terrible game for some reason. He's, like, really feeling down from his recent losses, and then they have to go from there against Prime. That would be pretty bad.
Yeah, certainly so. Well, nice game to start things off here. Next up, we'll be going into Tang versus Stats.
The Tang is coming out here once again.
Tang is back. He's going to be up against a weakened Stats, so maybe this time around, Tang will have his vengeance. Vani Research Station is the map as well.
Stats just reminds me of, like, when you play an MMO and you die too many times and your armor breaks a bunch. It's kind of where Stats is for me. Like, he's lost a bunch of times in recent times, and he's just not on his game. And as you mentioned, just like a weakened, almost broken Protoss at this point.
He needs to get to the blacksmith, get that repaired for enough gold. Maybe he's still saving his money.
Maybe. Is Tang Tang the blacksmith that he desires? Is Tang Tang going to help out Stats?
Tang Tang gonna fix his armor through defeat.